Coming up, The Great Escape.
I'm looking forward to going on vacation with my family this summer.
As families get ready to hit the road this summer, some important tips for those car rides. Also, a new student report card on schools and teachers is out. We have details. Then, countdown to Paris.
This is the Champs-Élysées, about 2 miles long.
With just 1 month to go until the Paris Olympics, our Kids Edition correspondents take us to the City of Lights for a look at this stunning place.
Look at this view.
From the Eiffel Tower.
This is the Eiffel Tower, one of the most visited places on Earth. There are over 1,600 steps in this whole structure.
To one of the most famous museums in all the world, and more. And Minion Mayhem.
You know, the most important part of a heist is being constantly aware of potential danger.
Gru returns for an exciting new edition hitting theaters soon. Our Kids Edition correspondent takes us behind the scenes of all that Minion Mania with the cast of the new movie Despicable Me 4.
Did you know it would be like the really big hit that it is today?
No idea. I thought it was good. I thought it was funny. And I love the fact that here's a character who's a villain, he's mean, he's awful, and then he falls in love with these 3 little girls who just melt his heart. But no, we had no idea it would turn into what it did over the years.
This is NBC Nightly News, Kids Edition.
All right, welcome back to Nightly News Kids Edition. I'm Lester Holt. It is great to be with you. We've changed up the scenery this week, as I'm sure you've noticed. I'm in Aspen, Colorado on assignment. It's gorgeous here. Behind me, you can see the Rocky Mountains. The Rocky Mountains, or the Rockies for short, stretch from Canada southward through the United States, including here in Colorado. Well, guys, we have a terrific lineup in store for you, from our pop quiz to our picture of the week. Plus, WNBA legend Candice Parker shares her message for girls who dream of playing in the WNBA one day. And a little later, a preview of the new movie Despicable Me 4.
Gru's family has expanded in this movie. Could you tell me about the new addition?
The new addition is Baby Gru, who does not particularly like Big Gru at all.
But let's begin with one of the stories making headlines. The first presidential debate between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump is taking place in Atlanta this week. Both are seeking a second term in office in the presidential general election this November. And it got us thinking, just what exactly is a debate and why are they important? Our friend Catherine Koretsky explains.
A debate is a formal discussion on a particular topic or groups of topics where participants express different opinions. Debates are an important part of our election process here in the United States.
Debates are incredibly important to our elections because they allow American voters to decide which candidates they like best.
During a presidential election, people running for president are known as candidates. They travel across the country talking to voters, sharing their ideas, and trying to convince them why they should be elected president.
The idea of American democracy is when we voters are choosing someone to be a president of the United States, we're trying to predict how good a president this person will be once in office. And therefore, a debate cuts through all that. And if you watch and listen very carefully, you can imagine what kind of president this person will be and how good he or she will be for your family, for your friends, for our whole society.
This year, President Joe Biden, a Democrat, is running for re-election against former President Donald Trump, a Republican, who is also seeking a second term, a chance to be president again. The 22nd Amendment to the U.S. Constitution limits the number of times a person can be elected president to 2 terms in office. The presidential general election will take place in November. The first debate between President Biden and former President Trump is taking place this week in Atlanta. During these kinds of debates, candidates are asked questions by people known as moderators and are usually given a set amount of time to answer each question. During presidential debates, moderators are usually journalists.
It's a moderator's job to make sure the candidates are answering questions about issues that matter to your family and the rest of the country.
Regardless of whether you're debating issues on a big stage or in a classroom setting, debates offer a good chance to learn how to express your ideas, develop good communication skills, and listen to other ideas and form opinions.
All right, Catherine, thanks so much. In other news this week, a new student report card is out revealing how students in grades 5 through 12 rate their teachers and schools. Our sponsor, Walton Family Foundation, partnered with Gallup and just released the results of a new Gallup poll showing students on average gave their schools a B- overall, and 36% of students polled gave their school a grade C or lower. 2,152 students at public, charter, and private schools across the country were surveyed in late April to early May. Meantime, with summer officially underway, many of you, I'm sure, are excited for summer break, and some of you may be hitting the road with your families for vacation already. But there are a few things to keep in mind when traveling in a car. We get details from our good friend Dylan Dreyer.
I'm Grace from Walpole, Massachusetts, and I'm looking forward to going on vacation with my family this summer. Thanks, Nightly News Kids Edition. Bye!
Hi, my name's Rashani and I'm 8 years old. I'm really looking forward to this summer because I'm going to see my uncle in Germany. After that, I'm going to Austria, the birthplace of Mozart. I'm so excited to see the Alps. I love Nightly News Kids. Bye!
Hi, my name is Jameson. I'm 9 years old and I live in Pennington, New Jersey. I'm looking forward to summer because I have a science camp I'm going to.
This summer could make for the great escape.
I like to go to Montana. On the way, we usually stop to national parks.
Stopping at national parks is a great idea. There are 400 plus national parks covering more than 80 million acres in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and several U.S. territories.
I love road trips.
In fact, a good road trip starts before you even get in the car. Ask your parents if you can help plan the route. Maybe look at a good old-fashioned paper map and trace the roads you're taking. Sometimes, though, being on the road can make you car sick. A study showed that kids between 4 and 13 are most likely to get what is sometimes called motion sickness. Your brain is getting mixed signals since the car is moving, but you are sitting still. Sometimes you can feel better if you open the windows. The wind on your face can help your brain know you're moving. Also, look outside the car. Focus on something far away, like a sign or a mountain range, and stop reading or playing on your phone.
If it keeps on happening and none of those things that we talked about help, your mom or your dad can definitely talk to your pediatrician to see if maybe there might be a medicine that you can take for future car rides.
Of course, you can also try a distraction like a car game. I Spy, 20 questions, or maybe even play the license plate game. See how many states you can see. Or think of a scavenger hunt ahead of time. Then check off when you see things like a school bus, a silo, or a dog in the car next to you. It will help pass the time and maybe prevent that question your parents dread. Are we there yet? Just remember, getting there is part of the fun.
I hope everyone has a good summer. Bye!
Dylan, thanks so much. And speaking of road trips, as I mentioned a few moments ago, I'm in Aspen, Colorado. And here in Aspen, we are nearly 8,000 feet above sea level. And sometimes when you visit a high altitude setting like Aspen, you can get what is called altitude sickness. So we asked our good pal, Dr. John Torres, to explain.
The one thing about Aspen, Colorado, it's at a very, very high altitude. And so sometimes when people come here, they get altitude sickness. What does that mean? Well, that means that the altitude is affecting them, especially if they came from sea level, somewhere where they're near a beach or they're very, very low altitude. If they come to this high altitude, they can start feeling a little fatigued, a little tired, maybe upset stomach, maybe a little bit of a headache, almost like they have the flu. So why is that happening? Well, the reason it's happening is because of the lack of oxygen in the air the higher you go. Here it is. At sea level, oxygen is around 21% of all the air you're breathing in. Here at Aspen at 8,000 feet, it's about 15%, so it's dropped quite a bit. If you go to the top of these mountains, which are 12 to 14,000 feet, it's only about 12%. So it's almost half the oxygen that you have at sea level. And that's why, at least for the first 3 to 5 days while you're trying to get used to this high altitude, you might start feeling a little sick, and that's altitude sickness. So what can you do? Well, there's a couple of things. Number one, you want to take it easy for the first 3 to 5 days you get here, because a lot of people end up coming here and doing too many things too quickly, especially exercise type things, and they end up getting this altitude sickness. The other thing, besides being at a very high altitude, it's also a very dry altitude. The humidity here is very low, and so you want to drink plenty of fluids. That's going to help keep you hydrated, but it's also going to help with your altitude sickness. And if you do start feeling sick, talk to your parents and say, I'm not feeling very well. And they might have you go back to the room, lay down for a few days, and just take it as easy as possible until you start feeling better, and then you can get back to doing all the activities you want to get to. The important thing is to take it slow right away, so that way you can enjoy the rest of the time you're there without getting sick.
Dr. John Torres, thanks so much. And boy, I'm feeling that altitude right here, having to get deeper breaths. All right, time for our pop quiz. And since we're in Colorado, the question this week, which animal is the state animal of Colorado? Is it A, bison, B, bighorn sheep, or C, a horse? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. Okay, time's up. The answer is B, bighorn sheep. Known for their agility, bighorn sheep are the largest wild sheep in North America. The Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep was designated the state animal in 1961, and the sheep have become a huge symbol for Colorado parks and wildlife. Now to our Around the Globe series. This week we head to Paris, France, a city in Europe that will take center stage when the Summer Olympics get underway in just about a month. We get more now from our Kids Edition correspondents Caroline and Eli, who traveled to the City of Lights to explore the history, popular landmarks, and so much more.
In a few short months, families from all over the world are coming to Paris to see the Olympic Games.
So we decided to beat the crowd and show you the highlights of this amazing city, Paris. Let's go. Paris, the city of love, lights, and the capital of France.
Paris is really old, like we're talking more than 2,000 years old. Beauty and history are everywhere. It's so easy to fall in love with Paris, and we quickly found out why.
Our first stop, one of the most famous landmarks in the world, the Eiffel Tower.
This is the Eiffel Tower, one of the most visited places on Earth.
There are over 1,600 steps in this whole structure, and they're playing beach volleyball in 2024 right here.
That's right. Beach volleyball will be played here at the Eiffel Tower during the Paris Olympics this summer. Talk about a cool place to play.
Did you know the Eiffel Tower is made of iron and was built in the late 1800s by Gustave Eiffel?
And there were people who thought it was really ugly and out of place at the time. Well, look now. People flock from all over the world to see it, and the views of Paris it provides.
Just going up? Oh, that's the stairs.
We went to the top by elevator, but if you're afraid of heights, it can make you a little nervous. Well, at least at first. It was scary at first, but then it was really fun.
That was his review of it. I wasn't scared. I was just scared of the little top. But it's so amazing to be at the top and look over this incredible city.
Look at this view.
There's even some sweet stuff to eat and drink at the top. Grown-ups can get champagne, and us kids can have a sweet treat too. We got this very pretty box full of macaroons.
And this one.
Look at that.
That one's strawberry chocolate, that one's vanilla, that one's strawberry. Next stop, another popular landmark with a grand French name.
This is the Arc de Triomphe, commissioned by Napoleon in 1806 for his army. It took over 30 years to build this thing. Just look at it, it's so cool. The Arc de Triomphe is a freestanding monument in the shape of an archway that took 30 years to build. Yes, 30. And it's at the western stretch of the most famous street in all of Paris.
And this is the Champs-Élysées, about 2 miles long and filled with shops and cafes. Paris is a perfect city to stroll through, but it's not the only way to get around.
One of the best ways to see Paris is taking a riverboat along the Seine.
The Seine River runs through the oldest section of Paris and divides the city into 2 parts, the left bank and the right bank.
And for the first time in the Summer Olympics history, the opening ceremony in Paris will not have athletes marching into a stadium. But instead, they will be a part of a massive boat parade along the Seine. Yes, Paris itself is stunning, but so is its artwork. It's home to lots of museums, including the super famous Louvre. Welcome to the Louvre, the world's largest museum. We spent some time exploring and saw up close some very famous old works of art, including the Mona Lisa, an oil painting by Leonardo da Vinci. It's a pretty big deal.
The Mona Lisa is so valuable, it's behind bulletproof glass.
And you can't come to Paris without talking about the food. That's right. From croissants to cheese to chocolate and more. Paris has lots of amazing food and dessert, especially for us kids. It's a magical city. And now you know what to eat and see when you come to visit, and what to look for when you're watching the Summer Games. That's it from here.
See you at the Olympics.
Kids, that was terrific. And guess what? We're taking Nightly News Kids Edition to Paris for the Summer Olympics. So be sure to tune in for our coverage from France this summer. And speaking of the Olympics, I had a chance to speak with two-time Olympic gold medalist and three-time WNBA champion Candice Parker at the Aspen Ideas Festival this week. The WNBA legend just retired from pro basketball after 16 seasons. She was very excited to talk about the WNBA and share her message for young girls.
This explosion of new talent, obviously, in the league. T-shirts are selling. TV revenue is up. Is this a temporary, a one-off, or has something fundamentally changed with women's sportsmen, in particular with women's basketball?
I'm a big believer in how do we keep this from being a moment and use this as momentum. And I think for so many years, people were half investing. And so now we're able to see, yes, the players rose to the moment. You look at Caitlin Clark putting up 40. You look at Angel Reese and her double-double. You look at the moments outside of it. Women, we're more than just athletes. It's about fashion. It's about personality. And we're seeing that now, and it can't be denied because the social media numbers and the television numbers and the ratings, all that is proof that, it's here to stay. It just has to be invested in the right way.
Can you talk a little bit about the hard work it requires to play and to be at the level that you have played at, and the message that you would send to kids who want to be like you?
It's so interesting. I look at her every single day. My 15-year-old daughter, she's a pretty good volleyball player. I can't say she's good yet. She's working.
You're tough.
Hey, listen, I came from a tough family. She's working, and I think it's breaking down that process and relinquishing the results is what I would tell every player. I think everybody worries about what's next. I'm working this job to get here and to do this, but you forget about the daily grind of the process. Don't worry about whether the shot's going in, because percentage-wise, I've put in so much work, the next one has to go in, right? And so I think that's what I would tell young athletes, because everybody wants to, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and when it's not happening in your time frame that you think it should, sometimes you quit or you let go or you give in a little bit.
And we should mention that NBC Universal News Group is the media partner of the Aspen Ideas Festival. All right, in this week's Spotlight for all you Minion fans out there, guess what? They're back. Despicable Me 4 is set to hit theaters nationwide in early July. Our Kids Edition correspondent Sam had a chance to catch up with some of the cast.
They're back.
Gru's been compromised.
Gru and his crew are back in action for Despicable Me 4.
Whoa! The most important part of a heist is being constantly aware of potential danger.
The latest installment includes a new addition.
Junior, come back here!
A new villain.
I'm unstoppable!
And of course, all the Minion Mania you've come to know and love. Once again, the cast is led by none other than Steve Carell.
Well, I'd say you're under arrest!
As your favorite villain wannabe turned hero, Gru.
Everything's gonna be new! We love new!
Kristen Wiig as Lucy Wilde. and funny man Will Ferrell, a newcomer to the series, as the menacing Maxime Lamel.
I can never focus on just being evil. No!
Can you tell me about the new addition?
The new addition is Baby Gru, who does not particularly like Big Gru at all.
I know you love your dada.
So there's a hurdle there. Gru needs to bond with his son, but it's a little bit tricky.
Don't touch anything. No.
Gru must protect Baby Gru, the rest of his family, and the world from an old nemesis determined to cause trouble.
Take down Maxime Lamel.
He's kind of governed by impulse, and he has lack of impulse control. And his thoughts of revenge are overpowering any sort of rational thinking he might have.
You're known for your comedy genius. We've seen you play villains before.
I'm the Mama Pajama.
And now with Maxime Lamel.
Yes, very rapidly.
In real life, do you think you're more Buddy the Elf
I just like to smile. Smiling's my favorite.
or Maxime?
It's always something.
Oh, I'm probably more Buddy the Elf. Yeah, I still really don't know how to function in society. I mean, I pick candy off the ground and try to eat it, things like that. Yeah.
You wear tights?
Yeah, I wear tights whenever I can.
Kristen Wiig has the unique distinction of playing an evil character, Miss Hattie, in the original Despicable Me movie.
Let me think. No.
And lovable Lucy Wilde in The Rest.
It's a combination of a jujitsu, Krav Maga, Aztec warfare, and crumping.
Which one was more fun to play?
Ooh, it's hard to say because I've been Lucy for a long time and I love playing Lucy. I will say when I was Miss Hattie in the first one, I hadn't really played a lot of evil people yet in my life, so that was one of the first and that was really, really exciting. But of course, Lucy has a big place in my heart.
With 6 films, including 2 Minion spin-offs, the Despicable Me series has become the most successful animated franchise of all time, to the tune of more than $4 billion. Did you know it would be like the really big hit that it is today?
No idea. I thought it was good. I thought it was funny, and I love the fact that here's a character who's a villain, he's mean, he's awful, and then he falls in love with these 3 little girls who just melt his heart. But no, we had no idea it would turn into what it did over the years.
Why can't you be more like your sister Edith? She lies all the time.
No, I don't.
See, she's lying right now.
Funny movies made even funnier with great actors. I learned that voice acting can be just as creative and challenging as acting on screen. What's the difference with voice acting and live action when you're on like an actual set?
Well, one thing is that you're doing it completely by yourself. You're separated in a booth, and then all of the tech people are behind a wall of glass, and they're recording you. But you're trying to imagine what all the other actors are saying. Yeah. You try to give as many different versions of each line as you can, so they can edit them and fit all of the pieces together and make it seem like a real conversation.
Agnes, as your father, I command you to lie.
No.
Yes, lie. You are walking on thin ice, little lady.
Does it take a long time to prepare, kind of, to do the movie?
Well, it's funny with animated films, for the most part, you don't get the script. You don't get to read the full thing.
Right.
So you have to talk with the directors and figure out what each scene is, what your character's going to go through. And you go back multiple times to record.
A hairstylist? Yes! Jackpot! Silas, did you choose that because you knew I cut my own hair? Or that I would just totally rock at this?
Finally, I had to ask, if there's one thing that you could have the Minions take care of in your life, what would it be?
Well, this one doesn't work anymore because my kids are older. Changing diapers, which the Minions do in this movie, and they are very talented at changing a diaper. And to have a Minion be able, that's nasty work for anybody.
Well, we have dogs at our house, and I would have them clean up.
Oh yeah.
Dog waste in the backyard. Poop.
Yes.
Thank you all for talking to me. It's been a pleasure.
Our pleasure.
Thanks,
Thank
Sam.
you.
Sam, I think you have something on your face.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
All right, great job, Sam. That was so much fun. We should note that Despicable Me 4 is produced by Illumination and distributed by Universal Studios, which is owned by our parent company, NBC Universal. Despicable Me 4 opens in theaters on July 3rd. Finally, in our picture of the week, a tall order. The Cheyenne Mountain Zoo here in Colorado just marked World Giraffe Day with a giant celebration honoring their giraffes and giraffes all over the world. The zoo celebrated World Giraffe Day with a full day of giraffe-themed activities, including a parade and giraffe feeding. The event promoted education and conservation of these majestic animals known for their long necks. Giraffes are the tallest land animal in the world. Well, that's going to do it for us, parents. Just a reminder, if your child has a question about any topic in the news, email a video to us at nightlynewskids@nbcuni.com, and we'll try to answer them in an upcoming episode. You can also follow us on Instagram @NightlyKids. Thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to take care of yourself and each other. So long from Aspen, Colorado.